Did you know that the global caviar market generates billions of dollars each year, making these tiny eggs one of the world's most expensive and luxurious delicacies? Sturgeon farms in Europe, Central Asia, and South America alone supply more than 80% of the world's legal caviar production, with premium varieties fetching prices nearly 10 times higher than pure gold. Behind these staggering figures lies a journey spanning decades, where each sturgeon is raised, monitored, and cared for in meticulous care. Sturgeons are one of the oldest living species, with more than 27 species recorded from the Caspian Sea to Russia and Iran. Their rarity stems not only from their plummeting numbers, but also from their incredibly slow life cycle. It takes 15 to 20 years for a female to reach maturity, and she only spawns a handful of times in her lifetime. That's why they're considered a living gold mine, with just 1 kg of premium caviar selling for the same price as a Ford F-150 Platinum. The journey begins in hatcheries in the foothills of the Andes or the cold waters of Europe and Central Asia. Here, individual sturgeons are numbered, monitored, and cared for years. Of the thousands of young fish born each season, only about 1% meet the genetic, health, and ovarian tissue quality standards required to be selected as broodstock. They are kept in tanks of pure, oxygen-rich water with a constantly controlled temperature, because even the slightest change in environment can completely alter the quality of the eggs. Once the female reaches sexual maturity, one of the most delicate stages of egg collection begins. The fish, weighing tens of kilograms, are placed on a stretcher where a technician gently massages the abdomen to help the eggs flow naturally. This method is non-invasive, humane, and allows the fish to survive to reproduce in subsequent seasons. Each fish can produce between 50,000 and 200,000 eggs, each considered a living pearl created from decades of growth. Once collected, the eggs are immediately transferred to a closed incubation system where the temperature is maintained at 14 degrees Celsius and dissolved oxygen is pumped in continuously to simulate natural living conditions. When the first larvae hatch, they are so small that they are almost transparent, their fragile bodies suspended in the water like tiny glass fibers reflecting light. Since the natural survival rate is only about 10–20%, each incubation tank is constantly monitored and adjusted to protect the young creatures, ensuring they make it through this most critical stage of the sturgeon's life cycle. As the sturgeon grow into adulthood, feeding becomes one of the most closely monitored activities on the farm. Each day, technicians walk through the tanks and gently sprinkle sinking pellets designed for adult sturgeon. Immediately, the water ripples as the heavy-bodied fish glide up from the bottom of the tank, moving powerfully but with control. In that moment, the sound of food hitting the water and the slow swirling of fish create a peaceful but crucial scene where the health and quality of future generations of broodstock are determined. Every few months, the fish eggs are checked by ultrasound to determine the maturity level and adjust the appropriate rearing time. Based on the color and size of the eggs observed on the screen, experts can accurately assess the development stage of the fish. This helps to make appropriate decisions about the diet and rearing environment. This process also helps to closely monitor the reproductive status, ensuring healthy fish growth and high efficiency in farming. When the time comes, the farm enters the harvest, the most important event of the entire farming cycle. Technicians, like surgeons, make a single incision about 15–20 cm long along the fish's belly. Inside is a plump rosette containing hundreds of thousands of shiny black or amber eggs. The eggs must be removed absolutely intact, as a small mistake can ruin an entire batch worth tens of thousands of dollars. Once the sacs are opened, the refining process begins. By the deft hands of workers, each egg is gently rubbed through a fine metal mesh and separated from its membrane. The eggs are then washed in a stream of pure, cold water, strong enough to clean them but gentle enough not to damage their delicate structures. Each batch of about 500,000 eggs is examined under white light. Any that are pale, misshapen, contaminated, or even slightly cracked are immediately discarded. This is the stage where perfection accepts no compromise. Once the eggs have passed the rigorous inspection, they enter the most important stage, salting. Only 3 to 5% pure sea salt is sprinkled through a fine mesh into a cold steel bowl. Each mixing motion must be as gentle as swirling a glass of fine wine, because salt is not only a preservative, but also the soul of the caviar flavor. When they reach perfection, the eggs are placed in small tins of 30, 50, or 125 grams, each worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The cans are sealed and labeled with full information about the batch code, origin, and type of sturgeon, a certificate of the product's purity and prestige. So the next time you see a tin of caviar glistening on a high-end counter, or savor a spoonful of caviar that melts slowly on your tongue, remember that behind that luxurious taste lies a journey that spans decades. Leave a comment below and tell us what has impressed you the most about the entire process of caring for, raising, and processing sturgeon. Each batch of caviar is more than just food, it is the result of years of meticulous, precise and secretive labor. If you find this journey interesting, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other fascinating farm-to-table stories from the world of global cuisine and agriculture.